All right, everybody. The Olympics is here on a year delay, but finally arriving this week, the Tokyo Games, and RotoWire's AJ Scholtz here to help kind of rip through a few things for us. A little Olympics preview, early look at some of the games action with opening ceremonies set for this Friday. AJ, you're going to be covering the games for RotoWire, right? So let's get your take on some of the events kicking off this week. We'll start with some soccer. You got the men's group stage begins on Thursday with Spain plus 250 here. Take home the gold. What should they be the favorite? What do you think? What's your preview?
Well, I think for starters, it's important to note these aren't the same squads that we saw in Copa America or Euro 2020 just, a couple of weeks ago due to the age requirements. And I think that's why you're seeing Spain favored more. Some of the names that we saw in that tournament, Uni Simon, Pau Torres, rather, Pedri, Danny Olmo, are playing in this one. But for other squads, some of those veteran guys that we're used to seeing, Belgium, their entire team was older. So we're not going to see any of those guys. They didn't make the tournament either. That's part of it. But if they had, we wouldn't be seeing those guys. Brazil is another one, though. They're going to have Richarlison, Dani Alves, Paulinho, just to name a few. Outside of the favorites, I think I'm still backing Germany at plus 650, given their talent pool is all players who play at the elite level, a lot of them in the Bundesliga, despite the fact that they're a little bit younger. South Korea actually has a pretty decent draw, so I would give them an okay shot of making it out of the group stage here. And once you get to the knockout round, as we learned in those Euro tournaments, all bets are off. So that's another like outside look team that maybe could make some waves here.
No USA on the men's side, AJ, but on the women's side, the U.S. national team is the favorite to win gold, minus 165, following a disappointing fifth place finish in the 2016 games in Rio. You think the U.S. will be able to bring home the gold in Tokyo?
Considering we're talking about a team that hasn't lost since a friendly against France in January of 2019, and that includes winning the Women's World Cup in 2019, I honestly think minus 165 is a little low here. And I'd certainly be willing to give up that juice to bet on them. I honestly think, the squad is all pretty much the same stars are back from the tournament. You've got Carly Lloyd, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, Julie Ertz. If there's a sleeper team in this tournament for me, it's probably Australia. They have a tough draw being in the same group as the USA and Sweden, but they dominated their qualifying tournament by pretty sizable margins with the exception of a 1-1 draw against China. They also advanced to the tournament as well. So that's a pretty evenly matched team. Australia has star power in terms of Sam Kerr, who nearly won the Golden Boot at that 2019 World Cup, despite the fact that Australia didn't even make it out of the round of 16 after losing on penalties here. That's pretty strong value at plus 2,500 to win here. I think the U.S. is rightly the favorite, but Australia is my sleeper team in this one.
All right, what are some of the other storylines people should keep in mind as they approach betting the Olympics?
Well, obviously, I haven't seen any odds yet on this one, but the U.S. women's gymnastic team is going to draw plenty of headlines here. Simone Biles and Team USA continuing to dominate that one. I would be really interested in the women's volleyball tournament. The USA won't have Kerry Walsh Jennings in action for the first time since the 2000 games. That was the last time she did not participate here. Looking ahead to like the first games that we're going to see. Actually, Tuesday night here in the U.S., the softball team, they're minus 200 to take home the gold on the DK Sportsbook. That'll start around, I think, around 11 o'clock tomorrow night. They cruised through the group stage in qualifying back in 2018. Well, word of caution there, the two games that they really struggled with to win that tournament were one-run wins over Japan. So that's actually a really good value there, plus 275. They clearly gave the U.S. some trouble and could be a contender on the softball tournament here.
All right. Well, very quickly, less than 60 seconds to go in the show. Any favorite bets you want to lock in before the games begin?
Well, I think you have to look at the USA gold total over under and the overall, medal over under. You're getting over 43 and a half gold medals coming in at minus 115. They covered that in 2016. They're also coming in at over 112 and a half at minus 120. They hit 121 overall medals in 16 as well. So the value is great on both those overs.